Welcome to chapter 13 of the book of Isaiah. It begins with the vision against Babylon, Orasis, ora, something that you see. It's a vision. It's not a feeling, but it's a vision. Now, exactly if you see a vision through a dream, or if you see it, some type of a ghostly apparition of some sort. I'm not exactly sure because I've never really had a vision. I've had dreams. But the vision is against Babylon, Vavilonos. Now, it's kind of strange. I guess it's not strange, but Babylon has not really taken power yet. Now, it depends on how Isaiah wrote the book of Isaiah. If he did it in chronological order, every chapter, or if chapter 1 was at the end and chapter 3 is in the middle and chapter 45 is at the beginning, then I don't know. The chronological order would be all shaken around. But right now there's no sign of whereabouts in the time zone. We know it's between King Uzziah and Hezekiah, and we've already went through he mentioned Uzziah and then Jotham, his son. So if this is during Ahaz, the evil king, it could very well be. But Babylon is a small city-state in Mesopotamia, down in the south between the Tigris and Euphrates River. Maybe I should have put the map up, but maybe I will put it on hold. So here's the map, and you can see Babylon down towards the southern part, which is in Iraq today. I think Baghdad is a little further north, if I'm not mistaken. And then this was all Assyria, and King Sennacherib, who was up in Nineveh, and Carchemish came over, he attacked Babylon along with going down into towards Israel, going towards Egypt. And Babylon it was destroyed, but it wasn't completely destroyed. People still lived there, and they still had some power. So later we find out in chapter 39 how the ambassadors come from Babylon over to Israel, and King Hezekiah much later shows them his wealth, and then the prophet prophesies bad things for Israel concerning Babylon. But that hasn't even happened yet. We don't even know if Sennacherib, when it's writing here, the 13th chapter, it might be after Sennacherib did come down against Babylon, but why Isaiah now is doing this writing then against Babylon, I'm really not sure. But anyway, it is a vision against Babylon. But now most of from I see in this chapter until the end, it's a hard for me to understand where that's against. A lot of this is against Babylon, because as we go through, we'll see. And then which Isaiah, son of Amoz, beheld, and it gives his name. Now, Babylon is mentioned quite a few places in the book of Revelation. In Revelation 14:8, it says, is fallen, Babylon the Great. So this Babylon in Revelation, most people would say, well, either it's a Babylon that comes back from being in ruins where it is today, or it's a figure for some type of other type of an entity, an economic entity or whatever. And to me, from what I've seen and studied it, and I've done a lot, I think Babylon is Jerusalem in the book of Revelation. And there's reasons for that. Peter mentioned the ones in Babylon greet you, and Peter was in Jerusalem, was in Israel. There's no proof that he ever went to Rome. So, and there's other reasons why all the saints, all the people that have been killed, we'll go into these things later. But right now, the next mention in the book of Revelation is in 19, where it says, "And the great city became into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And Babylon the Great was remembered before God to give to her the cup of the wine of the rage of his wrath." So that could be very well. The great city would be 3 parts, Jerusalem and then Babylon relating to it. And then in the Revelation 17:5, it says, "And upon her forehead a name written, the harlot, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of the harlots and of the abominations of the earth." And I still believe and hold that Jerusalem is falls into this, especially in the future here of what we see. Jerusalem has been in existence for 2,000 years, basically without the rule of the Jews, till the Second War. I forgot that they had, but they took over Jerusalem, but it is not some type of a spiritual center of the world at all. And then, as far as Babylon and its destruction, it goes into that in Revelation 18, verses 2 to 24, which are really too long to go into here. So you can look up and read Revelation 18, 2 to 14, and see what's going to happen to this Babylon of Revelation. And it continues, "Lift up a sign upon the mountain. Raise up high the voice to them. Do not fear. Call for aid with the hand. Open, O rulers." And in Revelation 14:1 it says, "And I saw, and behold, a lamb standing upon Mount Zion, and with him 144,000. This could be the sign right here. Raise up high the voice to them. Do not fear. Call for aid with the hand. Open, O rulers. I order and I lead them. Giants come to fill my rage, rejoicing together and insulting." Now, whatever these giants are to fill God's rage, I have no idea. Could be something that would be looked at as giants if they come from heaven, from God. "A voice of many nations upon the mountains, like many nations, a voice of kings and nations being brought together. The Lord of hosts has given charge to a nation of armed warriors." So in Revelation 21:10 to 11, it says, "And he carried me away in spirit upon a great and high mountain, and showed to me the great city, holy Jerusalem, coming down from out of the heaven from God, having the glory of God." So a voice of many nations upon the mountains, seeing the new Jerusalem coming down is a possibility. A voice of kings and nations being brought together. The Lord of hosts has given charge to a nation of armed warriors. They come from out of a land at a distance, from the extremity of the foundation of the heaven. Well, now that's a strange one there. To me, it definitely is some type of a future event that has not happened yet. This land at a distance from the extremity of the foundation of the heaven. Now, whether these is an earthly nation or if it's a heavenly, it's hard to determine from the way Isaiah is describing this. It says, "The Lord and his armed warriors to ruin all of the world." Now, the Lord, now are these people that like the angels following him, or are these people that the Lord and the ones that he is using to ruin all the world, which pretty much mentions all of this ruining of the world in Revelation for sure. And then it continues in 6, "Shriek, for the day of the Lord is near, and destruction by God shall come." Now, this day of the Lord, it calls it here in verse 9, incurable rage and anger. And it says in Revelation 6:17, "For is come the great day of his anger, and who is able to stand?" So it still sounds like this future thing that Isaiah is describing, a future event. And then to make the world to make the world desolate is another thing here it mentions, and it says in Revelation 3:10, "And I will keep you from out of the hour of test about to come upon the entire inhabitable world, to test the ones dwelling upon the earth. So here we have the entire inhabitable world. The ecumene is right here. His armed warriors to ruin all of the ecumene. And it's exactly the same as in Revelation. Revelation 3:10, and I will keep, 16:14, for they are spirits of demons doing signs, which go forth unto the kings of the entire inhabitable world, the ecumene, to gather them together for war of that great day of God Almighty, in Revelation 16:14. So, to me, what Isaiah is describing here is this end time of the destruction by these whatever power that the beast has. And because of this, it says in verse 7, every hand shall be loosened and every soul of man shall be timid. So it's not just in Israel, it's every man. Every hand shall be loosened and every soul of man shall be timid. So to me it sounds like a worldwide political upheaval that's going to occur in the future here. And the ambassadors shall be disturbed. That has their ambassadors are part of politicians, going to other countries of the United Nations and so forth, and shall have their pangs as a woman giving birth. There'll be basically no way of escaping the problems of the world, which are, I believe, starting to build up now in early 27. I'm sorry, what are we in? Late 2017, October, boy. And they shall lament together, another to another, and they shall be startled, in these ambassadors of politicians, and they shall change countenance as a flame, phlox. The phlox plant flame. That's what it means. For behold, the day of the Lord comes, incurable rage and anger. That's what I mentioned before. So this incurable rage and the orgies, the anger, is from God, and I believe he's using the beast and the things that are going to happen in the future to make the world desolate. And that's exactly what it describes in Revelation. And all types of things, asteroid hitting the earth, volcanoes, all sorts of things to make the world desolate. It hasn't happened yet. So Isaiah has to be talking about something of the future. And to destroy the sinners from out of it. Well, that certainly hasn't happened. There are sinners abound. Sin abounds today. It's just so terrible. Every time I look at anything, I just had a man shoot 50 people in Las Vegas, and they call it Sin City, which is for a good reason because of all these casinos and people going there for prostitution and gambling and having good time, drunkenness, and you name it. And so now this man kills 50 people in Sin City, and they're surprised. Well, if you go on the internet and you look, everything is violence and sex, a lot of violence. Kids are looking at it. They don't want you to look at sex. That's like, pornography is a no-no. But everybody can look at violence. Kids can look at violence. They're not stopping it. Pornography is bad and it can ruin things and families and so forth. But yet the violence kills people. And permeates the games, it permeates movies, it permeates television, and it permeates the world as violence is occurring all over. So sin is going to be destroyed. Hallelujah. For the stars of the heaven, asteris, aster, a star of the heaven, and Orion, in all the cosmos, transliteration of the heaven, Uranu, shall not give their phos, the phosphorus, photic, light. They shall not give their light. And the rising of the sun shall be made dark, and the moon shall not give her light. Selene of the moon, and phos again. So now, I don't believe that this means that they are going to go out, but the earth will not be able to see it. It says that in Revelation 6:12. And the sun became black as sackcloth made of hair. So you couldn't see it because of the smoke coming out of the out of the volcanoes, out of the earthquakes, out of the asteroid. I'm still trying to think the name. I had it. Starts with an A. Forgot it again. Well, anyway, this star that hits. And then in Revelation 9:2, And the sun and the air were darkened from the smoke of the well of the abyss, when the beast comes up. In 11, I charge evils to the entire world. That means evils are going to happen. He's allowing it. And to the impious ones, their sins. So somehow this is going to happen worldwide. It's not just in Jerusalem. That's why I was saying the Babylon at the beginning. It's like, well, how does that relate to this? Unless it is the Babylon is Jerusalem. Everything is around Jerusalem. Thinking Babylon is Rome may as well be Cincinnati or Keokuk, Iowa. I mean, it's Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. Don't ever keep your eyes off of Jerusalem. If you put them on Rome, then the beast, Satan, is guiding you towards that, not God. Everything is about Rome. I mean, it's about Jerusalem. And I shall destroy the insolence of lawless ones, and I will abase the insolence of the proud. So God has a purpose for humbling mankind. And the ones being left will be more rare than unfired gold. So there's not going to be very many people left, which it mentions in Revelation, and so many people die in these plagues and things that happen in the book of Revelation. You can go through that with our book, Entities of the Book of Revelation, available on the bookstore. Goes through a lot of this. And a man, anthropos, will be more rare than the stone from out of Ophir. And must be rare because nobody's ever heard of it. They don't know where it came from and where this Ophir was. Lithos, stone, lithography, litho. For the heaven shall be enraged. So see, it's more than just on the earth, it's the heaven. And the earth shall be shaken from out of its foundation. I should have written that down because it's in the book of Revelation about the shaking of the earth. Because of the rage of the anger of the Lord of hosts, in the day whichever his rage should come about. And the ones being left behind will be as a young doe fleeing, and as a sheep wandering, and there is not one gathering, so as for a man to return to his people. And a man shall take flight unto his own place. So it's going to be an upheaval that the world has not seen. It's going to be going back to the probably Neanderthal times, not even the Dark Ages. It's going to be worse. Not many people left, and the ones that are left, just running around helter-skelter, trying to exist, however. Excuse me. In verse 15, for whoever should capture shall be vanquished, and the ones who are being brought together shall fall by the sword. Now, what that means and how that's going to happen, I don't know, in the future. The beast will be in charge. And they shall dash their children before them. And now, this is a possibility here because we go down, as you see, the Medes down below. Well, it's behind my picture, I guess. There's the Medes down here in 17. Could start right here in 15 because it seems to be a change. For whoever should capture shall be vanquished, and the ones who are being brought together shall fall by the sword. And they shall dash their children before them, and they shall despoil their houses, and shall have their women. Then who is this? Behold, I rouse against you the Medes. So now the Medes were a small people that lived in what is today Iran. More towards, I believe, the northwestern part of Iran. Basically, the Greeks didn't consider the Medes. They called it the Medes and the Persians, the Medo-Persian Empire. So now if the Medes were the early ones, they never came against Israel in history as far as I can see. But now the people that are going to come against Israel and destroy it could be these Medes, Iran, Persia. Arouse against you, and all these things it mentions in the last two chapters of what they're going to do. The ones not considering silver, nor have a need of gold. They shall break the bows of young men, and in no way shall they show mercy upon your children. They shall Shall they spare your children? No. And Babylon, now we go back to Babylon, which is that city that's way south where Assyrians took before the Medes and before the Medes and the Assyrians. And Babylon will be the place which is called honorable by the king of the Chaldeans, and the Chaldeans ruled Babylon. They're from the southern part of Mesopotamia, in which manner God eradicated Sodom and Gomorrah. And he covered it over, and it shall not be dwelt in into the eon. Now, how long that is, an eon, I don't know, but still there's nothing there. Saddam Hussein tried to rebuild a few things and built some bricks and made the gate of Ishtar, built it with bricks that had his name on it, but it was not the full size as the original gate. Nor shall they enter into it through many generations. So it's a possibility that we come back again. So the people that do think that Babylon will be, Babylon in Revelation is actually Babylon, come back. That's a possibility. Nor shall they enter into it through many generations. So it's been 2,000, no, it's more than that, 2,500 years. Nor shall the Arabians go through, nor shepherds in any way shall rest in it. And wild beasts shall rest there. Now, the Babylon in Revelation is destroyed. Babylon the Great, which if it is Jerusalem, is going to be in shambles. Wild beasts shall rest there and shall fill up the houses with a sound and sirens. Sirenes, you can add that to your derivatives book. Sirenes, sirens, and demons, daimonia, transliteration, will dance there. And satyrs, ono kentavri, a bull with a horn, with one horn. Ono ken, one horn. Satyrs shall dance there, and hedgehogs shall build a nest in their houses. So now, whether this is a rebuilt Babylon or the one I believe is Jerusalem at future time here that we are living in, we'll find out, I suppose. In chapter 14, then it goes into the king of Babylon. Don't want to miss this one. It continues information on chapter 13, and hope you'll join us in chapter 13, and God bless.